So there's opportunity for others to step up. But it's also up to the Broncos' pathway and recruitment system to find that next jewel in the crown, right? They've got talent galore up there. I think they'll be okay. But I think it's more about not what the Brisbane Broncos do without Payne. It's more what South Sydney can do with Payne. Because it all of a sudden flicks them up a couple of notches up the ladder, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I actually think that it will add a spring to their step right now. Like as soon as that was announced on Monday or Sunday, and then the players turned up on Monday, there was said to be a genuine feeling of excitement in the camp, you know. And so you've got guys like Latrell, and you've got guys like David Fifita and Brandon Smith, and blokes that you would look at, and for all they've achieved so far in the game, I don't think they've achieved what they're capable of. And so, you know, does Payne coming there, you know, put the wind up them and motivate them to get the best out of themselves? Because there's no doubt when you look at the squad that they've even got right now, that back line is red hot. They've got enough depth in the forwards to be a contender this year, so they've got to do it this year, and then Payne adds to it next year.
Yeah. So you've already declared it, though, that you think that this puts Souths, his signing makes them a premiership threat from 27.
Oh, not a premiership threat. There's a couple of other pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that need to fit in, but they... Look, I'll put it this way. I would see that Souths are one of those teams that are going to fight for the bottom part of the 8 this year. But next year, they should definitely think that they have a chance of playing in the 8. You could make your career as a halfback off the back of Payne Haas. Like, I would just sit back and wait for Payne to run and then jump and take the next carry after that, do some ball playing. So I think it means that Latrell Mitchell, or unless they go to market and find someone else to help Latrell out, because I don't think Cody is going to be around next year.
This is meant to be his last
season. Yeah, he's going to struggle to get more than 20 games this year. Humphries is there, Sullivan's there. I love what Jai Gray is and what he stands for, but Latrell is the key part.
But
would you consider Latrell as a 5'8", or a fullback or a centre? Do you think that's still his best spot?
If Latrell plays in the centres, he's going to touch the ball 10 times a game. 6 of them are going to be carrying it from his own yardage line. That means he's going to touch the ball 4 times. He could score a try and set up 2 with those 4 touches. But if you play him close to the ball and he has 20 touches, 30 touches, all of a sudden that ratio goes up. I think he would struggle defensively at 5'8", the movement and things like that. I could see a world where he defends at centre and plays at 5'8", but then he's going to need a genuine halfback to take all that game management, decision-making control to unlock him a little bit too. But I think Wayne has proven that in his coaching career, he's able to make those moves. Darren Lockyer to 5'8". I don't think if Souths win the premiership under Wayne Bennett, I don't think Latrell Mitchell is the centre.
Yeah.
He might defend there, but I think he's either fullback or 5'8".
Because when you look through their current roster, they don't seem to have that genuine, experienced, top-shelf 7, like Humphries is there and Sullivan's there, and they've brought Jonah Glover, and they've got some young guys coming through that show, a lot of promise.
But Jai Gray has shown enough, like Tallis Duncan. Those guys did a great job at the back end of last year.
They have to be considering themselves as premiership threats in 27. When you look at their team and adding Payne Haas, yes, they're short a half, but, I mean, you've Payne Haas, David Fifita, Jack White and Brandon Smith, Latrell Mitchell.
That's why the pressure's on Latrell. If Latrell is not a 20-game player and playing 7.5 out of 10 most weeks, he will complement Payne Haas and Payne Haas will complement him. But he's the key to the puzzle there.
Yeah. So halves going forward will be the big thing for Wayne to look at this season and next.
You look at the situation that South signed Payne under too, was the fact that they had so many players coming off contract in 2028, which freed up, and on the back of Keon's decision to go to the Dragons, that freed up so much space. And I had a list here where literally there is 4 of the top squad at Souths who are contracted beyond 2027. So into 2028, it's Jai Gray, Lachlan Hubner, Cam Murray and Junior Totola. The rest are off contract. So there's big decisions coming, not just now, but in the next year or so at South Sydney that could really see a turnover in that roster.
Yeah. All right, on the Haas deal, though, to Souths, it's a 3-year deal, but there's already been discussion and talk that there's get-out clauses for him. What do you think that looks like?
I think that there is from my understanding, is that there is a get-out clause, but that's attached to Wayne, right?
So
I'm not so sure it's anything to do with R360, although you'd never say that's dead in the water given the money that they were previously offering Payne. But Bennett's currently signed until the end of 2027, right? And he is negotiating or talking about going an extra season. Who knows, though, with Wayne. So he's 76 years of age at the moment. He's coached for 50 years. He's 77, 78 in that 28 season. And, you know, who knows how long he goes on for. But I'll tell you one thing about the bloke. He loves football and he loves talking football more than anyone else. Yeah. He just never gets sick of it. He never gets sick of hanging around the younger guys or just being a part of that. That's his life. It's been his life for as long as he's known.
My biggest rap for Wayne is he's obviously a damn good coach, but his ability to evolve and coach, let's say, Wally Lewis, Alan Langer, Kevy Walters, Wendell Saylor, through to Darren Lockyer and Shane Webke, now all of a sudden he's influencing, you know, guys like Payne Haas and Latrell Mitchell. He's done it for 50 years. It's incredible. And I would say if he's making this much of a play by getting Payne Haas, I think he's hanging around South to get the job done. I would assume so, because you're not going to play the fatherly figure card to Payne Haas.
Well, the Wayne...
And then go, oh, by the way, I'm
only going to be here for the first year.
They
have to re-sign Wayne. Otherwise, according to the get-out clause, Wayne's only there for 27.
I would imagine it's a big problem, though, for the club, would it? Because you can see with this deal what he means to that club. That's not to say Wayne hasn't got guys below him already, and Ben Hornby and people coming through that he relies on heavily for the coaching side of things. And, you know, there's always been talk that someone like Sam could turn up back at the Rabbitohs down the track as the coach to go beyond Wayne. But for now, it'd be pretty hard to find a better fit, knowing that all the top coaches around the game are pretty much locked up anyway.
When was Wayne's last grand final win? Dragons? 210?
His last was, the Dragons. So then the 2015 grand final, they got beaten in Golden Point, and then they lost with Souths.
Yeah, so 210. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
He's chasing it.
Oh, yeah.
He's ready.
And you know what? He would have sat back, like you said previously, and when Keon had gone, he would have known that he had to go to the top of the market to get someone special to lift them, because he doesn't want his legacy to be what you just spoke about. You know, he was a great coach that lasted 50 years but didn't win a premiership in his last 16.
He wouldn't be taking any extra joy out of taking the best player in Brisbane to Souths.
Not at all.
Would he?
No, you wouldn't imagine so.
No, surely not.
Well, you think about the way, mate, he was devastated at the way the Broncos sacked him in 2018 via email, and it was a really, really ugly time in that club's period. And
does Wayne work emails?
Well, he did in those days. I think he'd been out to lunch. The story at the time was, and
what's his email?
And he was notified by email that he'd been punted, and you can imagine that left a lot of animosity between the two parties. But Lara, don't worry about that. He would have seen that.
There's some history between these two clubs.